I hope you'll join Heidi and me as we step into childhood dreams. This is a new collection from our friends at Hunkydory, and I predict you're going to love it. Come play with us. Now, if you are a follower of Hunkydory, as we are here, you know that they usually have a luxury topper collection, and they do this time with those foil die cuts, the printed and foil cardstock that all matches. There's also the adorable scoreable, which is their term for their cardstock, 30 sheets. There are the inserts, which are the ghosted back images. This time there is a little square book of childhood dreams, and I'll show you a project that Heidi will use. Now, there's also 2 sets of stamps, and they just add a really wonderful support to the toppers and everything else. Heidi has used those. And then this time there are some little cutting dies. Now, I know you can't see it, but let me tell you what they say. This is enjoy every moment. All of these they're long. They're about 4.5, 5 inches long. And they have the words and then also a shadow background. So you can use them together or just use the cutting die. Enjoy every moment. You are wonderful. Sweet blessings, well, that certainly works with childhood dreams, and make a wish. So all of this is part of the entire collection. And now let's take a step and see what Heidi has done. And we're going to start with my very favorite. And let me get these out of the way. And here we go. In fact, we'll get in closer as I turn the card right side up so that you can see. Don't you just love that? In fact, it reminds me, every Saturday when my granddaughter comes over, she sits in the swings, and then we sit and talk about very important things. You might have the same situation at your house. Well, this is really just really fun. And what Heidi has done is a very effective use, of course, of the cutting dies, of the die cuts. In fact, here is the sheet. There is always a title in the upper right-hand corner. It's called Sunny Days in this particular one. And you can see that it's got this set of nested die cuts. There's this one on the outside that Heidi's used. The middle one she did not use this time, and then the center one. Now, this kind of looks yellow and greens, but she's really made it onto the blue area, and let me show you why. And that is because this is one of those printed adorable scoreables. You see, it has the same image, but what Heidi's done is she's used this area, and she has used this to go behind the girl. And actually, she also used, and I don't think I showed it to you, but in this collection, there is also a set of printed parchment. So here's one of them. So she decided to cut this piece out of this area of the adorable scoreable, and then she glued a piece of the parchment on top. So it gave a little bit more depth to this area. You can use one or the other, or you can use both like Heidi did, but that's going to work very nicely. So then she matted that onto the yellow, which is part of the adorable scoreable collection, that 30 sheet package, and glued that to the front of her 5 by 6.5 inch card. So you've got everything going there. Now, for those die cuts, she foam taped both of the center and then the outside ring, and then she simply glued these 2 greetings onto the top layer. So that just worked nicely. Now, she also took the this is the Fizz Wishing Bubbles, and you can see how that pops out the yellow. It goes along with the cardstock right there too. And she's got some small and large ones that are already foam taped, and it comes right from that package. Now, she did use the blue ribbon set, whoops, and that's what it looks like. And you can see that she did her bow right in the corner and dotted that in place. On the inside of her card, well, the other thing that matches is the inserts. Again, it's the same image ghosted back. And the ghosting back does a nice thing because it lets anything else that you put in really pop forward. Now, we talk about an easy way to attach this, and I just take a glue stick You can use whatever adhesive. I go around the outside edge, very close to the edge. I put a great big X in the middle, and then I place the insert or whatever you want to right next to the score line, right next to that fold. Position it, push it down, turn this over, and then simply trim it to fit. And that's just an easy way to get everything connected. Now, this border also comes from that sheet of foil die cuts, as does the birthday wishes, and as does the other two greetings that were on the front of the card. So everything matches, everything goes together, and you can see how Hunkydory does their art. So they take their foiled pieces with the art. In fact, there's two groupings usually on every one of these sheets, so you can see. Then they have the printed, and generally there's a foil cardstock that also matches. And then in another package, they have the inserts that match. So everything works together, and then of course the adorable scoreable is going to coordinate too. This time, as I said, they're also the printed parchment, so that adds just an extra bonus to what's going on. Okay, so you can tell that's why it's my favorite, but look, this one is just really charming. And this is the beginning of using those cutting dies. So you can see that Make-A-Wish. Again, this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card. So you can see that if you wanted to make a smaller card or had a smaller area, you could easily clip off the edges of that cutting die. So you can use it in lots of different sized cards. Now in this case, Heidi has chosen this sheet, and this is again out of the Topper collection. It's called Let's Make Memories, and isn't that just really charming? Now that's going to be used, and let's get into the card. Now to begin with this card, let me just show it to you. This has the front is done a little bit differently. It's folded back. So what you'll do, let's pretend like this. So there's your 5 by 6.5 inch card. You want to score right along the center of the front and then fold it back onto itself. This way we're going to create the stage to make this card, which is a easel card. But it kind of has this reversed back technique going on just to really make it easy. Okay, so you will use the adorable scoreable, and this is the red one, and you're going to cut it to fit right on top of that half of the card front, so right there. Then you're going to go into the printed parchment, and this is the full sheet. And on these sheets, there's one side that has bright color and one side that the color is duller. I like to use the brighter side because that's going to get your full intensity, but sometimes you may want to use the duller side, kind of like how we do the inserts. They are a ghosted back image. Same thing that's happening here. Okay, so when you have that red piece attached, then we're going to take the parchment and trim it to fit right here. All of the measurements, as always, are down below in the gallery, so you don't have to kind of try to figure out anything. That's all there for you. Now in this case, Heidi used all 3 of these nested dies as one unit. So you've got the outer one, that middle gold one, and then the center one, and she simply glued all of those to the parchment, and that just makes it very solid. So as you can see, when you lift that up, it's going to stay right there, and it's not wimpy at all. Now, the Let's Make Memories, that little foiled piece was just glued down straight. And then Heidi took our gold dazzles, our jewel dazzles. Yes, I know that's really in your face. 540 circles on this sheet, and they are in 3 different sizes. And so she, as you can see, she put 2 at the upper corners, 1 down here. She put some right here on those ovals, and then she also added a blue ribbon from that same blue ribbon set. So that takes care of the front of the card. On the inside of the card, she went back to the red adorable scoreable, trimmed that to fit on the inside, and then she took the border that's on this sheet and glued it down. And then she went back and added, in fact, you can really see that, I think, right now, these jewel dazzles. We call them jewels because they look very sparkly and pretty. And she just placed them along that border and then onto this greeting that she foam taped. Now, the other thing that she used in conjunction with the gold jewel dazzles are the gold border dazzles. So there's one strip there. And even though that's a tiny strip, it's not very wide, it really packs a lot of punch, as the dazzles tend to do. Then, Hey Friend, You're the Best is glued straight down with another knotted ribbon just zotted in place. And as I said, because that's foam taped, it's going to hold that up front and do a really nice job. Okay, and as I said, the Make-A-Wish, actually, let me come back to that for a moment. So there are the 4 of them, just so you can see. And they're all the same font, just certainly different words. So You Are Wonderful, Enjoy Every Moment, Sweet Blessings, and Make-A-Wish. Now what Heidi did is she went into the Adorable Scorable and die cut one out of the cream and then also the red. Put the cream on top so that it gives a little bit of a red shadow behind it, and just attached it right there. Now you can certainly use the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist glue because that has that needle nose applicator, or the sticky specks are going to be perfect for attaching that. So either one is going to do a very nice job. Okay, ready to see something else? Well, I certainly am. And here we have the next card, and here it is. Isn't that just, I think this imagery is absolutely charming. It looks to me like this was artwork that they have used, just really nice. Now this comes or starts out of this Childhood Dreams. This is the little square book, and this measures 4 3/4 inches square. So each of those, 150 sheets. You get 6 of each one, and so Heidi began with this one, as you can tell. But she did something, I think, very, very clever with it, is that she went into the square, oh, I grabbed the rectangles. I apologize. It is the square set. Looks like this, but it's not rectangles, it's squares. And so they're scalloped and straight. And so she would put the straight ones and cut it out of this piece multiple times because you get 6 of them. So one is going to get glued down to be the front of her card. Then just start with the largest straight die and use it to cut out a frame, then take the next sheet and cut a smaller frame and the next sheet and so forth. And then you're going to end up like this. And what Heidi did was to foam tape them in place. So the first one gets foam taped, then the next one gets 2 layers, and then 3 layers, and then 4 layers. Really fun. It's kind of a pyramid. Actually, it's a reverse pyramid, so going down into it just really lets you take a look at that sweet little face. So very fun to do. Now, you could just use them individually. Again, you get 6 of them, so you can do whatever you like, but I thought that was a very clever thing that she did. Now, Heidi matted that on the pink Adorable Scorable, also on the yellow, and on that Adorable Scorable you get multiple colors. And then she also dipped into the red, so you can see how that plays with that sweet little imagery. Now, she did use the red ribbon set to put a little one there. And then she also went to the thin line dazzles. No, let's see. I think this is just the gold one. So I just showed you that a minute ago. And she just added just a bit. So a bigger strip on the frame, and then a smaller strip on the next to, actually the smallest little frame. So it does a nice job of, again, forcing your eye to go right there to that sweet little face. Now, that best friend, in that little book, the same one, there are some sheets that have cutouts, and that's what she's used here. So You're My Best Friend, and that was matted onto the red, and it just works so nicely. Now, this is a smaller card. This is a 5-inch square card. So you can take your 5 by 6.5 inch card and cut it down, or you can just start with a piece of cardstock and make it 5 by 10 inches and fold it in half, whichever you like. Now on the inside, she went back to the yellow Adorable Scorable, covered the inside, did a 1-inch strip of the pink, added that Jewel Dazzles border right there. And this is the smallest piece that was cut out of one of these frames. So, you know, you never throw anything away. And that's been matted on the pink. And the Happy Birthday, also from that little book, is matted on the red. A little red bow right there. So you can see that little face both places. So it's just really charming. Now, I did mention that there are 2 stamp sets in this collection. And Heidi has used this one. This is called Blooming Bouquet Silhouettes. There's also Gorgeous Garden Silhouettes, and I thought it was really nice that she used it, and I wanted to, of course, share the card with you. Now, this card is also 5 by 5, so it's the same thing that you can do as on the last one, is you can cut down your 5 by 6.5 inch card or use white cardstock to make your card, whichever you like. Now what Heidi has done, we'll kind of start the base of it to begin with and then go into the stamping. So the base has the dark green Adorable Scorable that has been cut slightly smaller than the card. And then she took the lime green and cut it even smaller. And look how she glued them over, the one straight on the card, the other kind of kiltered. And so that worked nicely. Now she took a piece of the Hunkydory's stamping paper, and she used that to stamp and brought in, again, as I said, this stamp. Now, your choice, how you want to do it, if you want to do it with the greeting first and then do the pieces around it, or if you want, you know, just how you want to do it, that's perfectly fine. But what she has done is some multiple stamping, as you can see. She used and started, so she used this piece and also this piece, which I thought was really fun and gives you a variety of looks. Actually, I think she also used that stamp right there and a couple of the butterflies also. So getting lots of bang for your buck there. And she has gone into, this is using the Hunkydory Prism ink pads, Periwinkle for the blue, and she used olive green for the green. And then for the butterflies, she used apricot. So those 3 colors, very, very clean colors, very nice colors. Now, when she was stamping, she would stamp, and let me just try a little bit here. So she would first cut her piece to be the size that she wanted, and then she would go in and ink up the ink pad, the stamp, ink up the stamp, okay? Then when she would stamp it, she would stamp it once, and then without re-inking, she would stamp a second time. And you can get a lighter image with that secondary image. In fact, that was so light it didn't even show up. Okay, so let me just do that again. Go over. And it just gets lighter, as you can see right there. And she did that with the blue and the green. So that worked nicely. And I like how she added some at the top. So you can do lots of different things with that technique. The You Are My Sunshine, that is also on the stamp set, of course. You are the sunshine of my rainy day. And that was done with the black StazOn, or any permanent ink pad will work well. Then that piece was bordered with the Dazzles. Now this is the Thin Line Pearl and Pastel set. There are, let me see, there are 10 sheets in here. And as you can see, she has used a green, but you can just see all of the colors. So the pearls as well as the pastels. And so the green pearl is what's right around that. Just works nicely with the other two greens, don't you think? So there are 10 sheets in there. And then she added on top of that a very neutral set of these shimmer sparkles, and this is called sepia. So you can see the brown, gold, and then the light yellow. And so she's just placed them there on the flowers, and then 3 down here in the corner. On the inside of her card, she did more stamping. Same thing, bordered it with those thin line dazzles. This is another of the cutting dies, and you can see Sweet Blessings. And the butterflies and this also have the sepia sparklets, a little bow right there, and you've got this finished. So just really very nice touches to many of the cards this time, and giving you lots of options. So this is quite a collection from Hunkydory. Childhood Dreams. I hope you are as much in love with this art as I am. And also the adorable scorable, the inserts. We're gonna have to back up, Steve. And the Parchment. I don't think I showed that to you the first time, but the Parchment has 16 sheets. And then of course, the little book of the stamps and those wonderful cutting dies. So all of this in the Childhood Dreams, it's all available now. Let me know what you think. Tell us in the comment section. You'll see all of the instructions down below in the gallery. We always do that. And of course, we have actually a couple of money savers over on the right-hand side of your screen. So thank you, Heidi. Great job. Thank you, Hunkydory. They're beautiful. And thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family.